I'm very excited to share with you that the deal is finally done. So it's official. I know all of us waited for a long time, but when you are trying to do something new, you want to make sure that you don't rush and you make sure that all the constituents and communities understand what the new change is all about. So it took some time, but thanks to very hard work from OL staff and all the patients from the community, we finally got it done. So I want to thank the staff at OL. So this is the new beginning for OL Fem, and very excited to share that from now on it's going to be moving forward. And our focus is going to be really about advancing women's sports, in particular women's football. I know I get a lot of questions about OL has won already so many trophies. What more can you possibly do? And this is not about necessarily just winning the trophies, but it is raising the bar and professionalizing women's football. And there are multiple components to that. And I think that while the OL Fem has won a lot of trophies, other countries, other teams have caught up and are catching up. So we need to make sure that we continue the efforts in terms of professionalizing the team. So some of the key components of professionalizing include, and start with, training women as women. As my head of performance say, women are not small men, so they should not be trained based upon the training manuals and approach developed by men. And especially women's body and physiology and biology are very different with the hormonal the changes as well as the nutrition, even sleep, all those impact female athletes very differently. So we embarked on a lot of actually basic science research for women's body and the impact on their performance. I found out that over 94% of all science research on athlete performance is dedicated on men. So it's no surprise that there isn't enough information for any staff to train women as women. So we have actually staff of over across the Spirit and Lyon, 20 or so staff focusing on training women as women, from basic research to applying that to how do we train our female athletes differently. So we're looking forward to actually continuing that research and making sure that our players are in their best condition so that they can be the best player that can be individually and collectively as a team. But while the players could be the best they can be, we need to ensure that the training facility is a training environment that include the physical facility and staff are the best. And I probably have to admit that the OL Fem's training environment is not the best. And in terms of both the staff, number of staff, and the physical training center. So one of the first things that we've done is to increase the training staff, right? So when I arrived here, there's sort of a handful of staff on the sports side, and many of them split between men and women. And I wanted a dedicated staff focused only on women. When they get up in the morning, they only think about women athletes, not men and women. So from the handful of staff, we now have 26 dedicated staff for women's team. Most increase came from the performance side, head of performance, full-time nutritionist, mental coach, all those things. So we now have 26 people helping our athletes. The physical environment in terms of training center, OL in general, I think both the campus as you visited, this is in the training center, has one of the most state-of-the-art kind of training center, but that's primarily for men. Women's training center is not up to the standard that our players deserve. So we are going to expand and improve potentially a much bigger place in another location. Then the next key category is the playing environment, which is the stadium, and that's a little long-term project. But right now, our OLFM players are playing some major games at the Groupama Stadium, which is about 58,000. But most of the games they play at the training center, the pitch, which has about 1,200 seats. I think that's unacceptable for a team like OL. But between 1,200 and 58,000, that's a huge gap. I think we need somewhere in the middle, some happy medium. And so we're looking at building our own stadium about probably 15 to 20,000. But we will continue to play the big games, and one day hope we can sell out the entire Groupama Stadium. On the business side, I'm going to make one more comment and we'll take questions. On the business side, when I first arrived here, I talked to some of the fans and I talked to some of the citizens, and I asked, why don't you come to see women's football games? And some of the answers I got were like, oh, you're going to win anyway, so why should I come? So what we decide to do is we're going to understand who are sort of Lyon citizens, who go to men's game, who are going to women's game, why aren't they coming to women's game? So we actually hired the survey firm, marketing firms, and rebranding firm to start the survey of 6,000 citizens in Lyon. To understand their interests, why and why not. And the most amazing thing I found out was that we sent out a little over 6,000 surveys, and over 4,500 completed the survey within 48 hours. I was in the business of doing this type of survey as part of my career before. I've never seen that kind of response rate, let alone that within that quickly. That shows that there's an incredible pent-up demand for women's sports, women football in Lyon. But why there's this demand, but yet the attendance is not matching the passion and interest. So that's what we have to do. We have to figure out how to make sure that we create an environment where our fans can come and enjoy and experience the excellence and the winning spirit of OLFM. So we've actually, while we officially closed today, we have already started working on a lot of projects on main kind of areas. As I said, this is training women as women, the training environment, the stadium environment, and then fan experience and fan development areas. So a lot more to come, and we're excited to share this progress with you. So unless you have something else, we'll open up for questions.